0.16 came out. This is the service, secret service announcement. I'm gonna let that play. Dismiss.
What is up, agents, chosen of Kyria, and all interested observers? We're back from the lair with another service directive update, this time for patch 0.16, and there is a lot to cover here. Some of it not as flashy as other service directives, but equally as important, my friends. We're on the home stretch developing this game as we race toward worldwide launch, and whew, we're feeling it. The reality of launch, the reality of getting everything in order is shaping all of our present priorities and decision making. So, I'd like to personally offer my apologies if it feels like things are getting more disorderly and wild than organized and tame. It's just where we are, but I promise you, there's a method to the madness. There's a method to the madness, right? Yes, rest assured, there's a method to the madness. All right, let's jump into things. So 15.1. We made some changes to Eventide, and we didn't take the opportunity to clearly explain ourselves. With our hearts and minds set on launch, we've been taking a long, hard look at how we can improve the onboarding of our core modes on behalf of new players. The changes in 15.1 were really just the start of those efforts, but we didn't do a good job of framing those changes for you all. And we need to do better there. We really needed a service directive 12.1, am I right? Well, on behalf of the team, I commit that we will continue to improve how we're communicating with you all, particularly when doing surgery on elements of the game that we know players care a great deal about. So with that out of the way, some of the changes in 15.1 didn't go over so well with you all. We've got a bunch of adjustments coming back your way on Eventide in response to some of those misses, but also keep in mind that these aren't all the changes we're looking to bring to the mode. We're still trying to figure out how to make the UI and user experience of the mode as clear as possible, particularly for new players. And on my side, I'm actually thinking about getting Delith to do the announcer VO so she can rally the troops to victory. I actually think that's going to help. I really do. Let me know if you agree. Okay, so what's coming to Eventide in 0.16? I'm not going to cover every single detail. You can check the patch notes for that. Just the quick highlights, let's go! The time between events has increased from 40 to 60 seconds. We feel like there wasn't enough time in between events to properly move around the map and collect resources. Here's a quick one. The health regen penalty has been removed. We've made a lot of changes to the bosses in the mode, starting with the Overseer. We've broken up the Overseer's health into thirds, granting points upon damaging through those health thresholds. We think this will better incentivize players to take on the objective, knowing they will experience reasonable point rewards, even if they're unable to take the entire boss down. The core behemoth has had a similar change regarding its health thresholds, granting shard drops at every third of its health. We think this will make that fight a bit more about zone control, rather than the last hit festival it currently is. We've made a lot of changes to running shards in the mode. Take a look at the patch notes, of course, but basically, the changes amount to a 50% decrease in the number of shards on the map. In 15.1, as you know, the bulk of a team's score was heavily weighted towards shard collection, and we would like to ensure that other points in the match are equally as valuable. Lastly, Final Harvest sees a return to score being a factor of holding the majority of outposts. Just note that your score will count up and not down. I realize some of you vets like the draining mechanics, but at this point, we're pretty...
Hold on. Need to do another sound check. Cool beans.
Convinced that scores going up feel better to most players, and changing it to be more intuitive like that also allows us one less information hurdle to communicate for onboarding new players. Just know that it basically plays the exact same as the drain approach. We're just gonna drain up now. We've added a new boss called the Riot Overseer to the list of possible bosses you can encounter at the end of the Colosseum Trials of Dawn, and with it a new quest so you can check that out. Also, the Colosseum sees the addition of a ton of announcer voice lines for Toph, the Tremendous! Enjoy. It was fun putting that together for you all. Hope you love it. On the play menu, we've been messing with how we unlock modes to new players here. As you vets know, we started with Slayer as our first onboarding game mode, then we tested out Colosseum in the last update. Well, we're back to Slayer now, as we believe it is a better overall introduction to the game's PvP early on. We were considering getting data from this update that featured Slayer, followed by Eventide as our core play modes, and having the rest of our current modes in the rotating queue, but given community feedback, we're keeping Coliseum out of the rotating queue for 0.16. So, player progression related to Ascension, as of 0.16, will go Slayer at Ascension rank 0, Eventide at rank 4, Coliseum Trials of Dawn at rank 8, and then all rotating game modes at rank 12. Also note, rotating modes have been moved to a daily rotation in order to continue to promote solid liquidity for matches. Will it stay this way? I cannot say. We're still learning, team, with our eyes ever set on the launch, so all of this could change given what we learn. Okay, let me wrap this up by talking about where we're headed for the future. Gameplay improvements, particularly weapon balance and diversity. We hear you guys loud and clear. Know that. We hear you. We're taking a holistic...
So, before 0.13 and 0.14, I was all on board with weapons basically being rebalanced and for trinkets and all the other stuff. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. After 0.13 and 0.14 and some of 0.15, I'm not that excited about it, because watching the changes that were done with the primals, that wasn't great. Sunder, like, I don't play Sunder anymore because Sunder just doesn't feel like you're being a primal. It's too fast, the health is too low, and you can get knocked out of Sunder before you do anything. Like, you get one or two people, Sunder's done. That's not fun to me. So that's useless. Isia, if you put yourself in the wrong position and you siege the wrong way, she can disappear before you even launch an attack. But she's still better than Sunder, even though it's still lackluster in the time. Sunder and Isia used to have a 24-second duration. Sunder's was brought down to 10, Isia's was brought down to 12. So if you completely half their durations and keep their health the same, they don't feel right. You don't really get to experience being the primal god. It's more like a quick primal burst, and that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna get there. Oops. He was almost done.
This up by talking about where we're headed for the future. Gameplay improvements, particularly weapon balance and diversity. We hear you guys loud and clear. Know that. We hear you. We're taking a holistic look at all of our gear, from weapons to trinkets, abilities, and even primals, to ensure it's all working the best way we can imagine for this game. We don't have a lot to share here yet, but know that we're on it. Also, more onboarding UI and user experience improvements are coming, particularly in our menus. And lastly, we are wrestling with the question of what a competitive mode for Catalyst Black should look like. We know you all have been looking for this, and we'd like to see what we can deliver here. I have nothing to promise or really say that's meaningful, but I wanted to let you know where our head is. Also, please know that what I shared here is not a complete list. There's definitely more. Of course, thank you for sticking with us. We're excited about where we're headed, and we hope you are too. We'll see you on our socials and in the Discord, and never settle for the lesser evil.
It's just his face. You actually needed to hear what he was saying. Actually, I need to get to here.
It's Service Directive 10, my friends. I know. I know, you're right. You're right. It should be as...
So, I'm just going to go over the patch notes after this, and that should be it. Alright, you can get out of the way. I don't need to see you. Discord out. So, basically, it's the Service Directive has that. What they basically did is they just talk about what are the changes that are in there. It recaps everything he said. All the bosses now are broken into 3 segments. I played it already. The final harvest is back to the old way. If you're playing against bots or if you're playing against people who don't know how to play, you're gonna pretty much dominate that portion. It's not really that hard. The 4 events, I don't love that, but it is what it is. It's 4 events, and then you go to the final harvest. I understand what they're trying to do is keep the game mode somewhere under 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes maximum. Um, but it still feels like back in the day you used to control when that harvest happened, or you could basically try to prevent it from happening early if a person got 10,000 more points than you did. Like there was a strategy in that also. So that just doesn't exist anymore. It's just gonna happen. But what's nice is instead of you being at like 20,000 when it's happening, you're usually under 15, 16,000, which isn't horrible. Trials of Dawn, I can't wait to play that. Um, the rotations have been changed, and they supposedly fixed the shotgun. I was actually gonna play shotgun this time. I've tried 2 builds so far, and it's been really good. Yeah, it should be good. That's what I'm hoping for too. Yo, what's up, Dusty? So I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna put on my music. Where are you? Nah, I'm gonna do my bit. As usual, Judy always goes over the maps, and everything looks better. Again, like that's the one thing I can tell you about every update. The game gets prettier update by update. I also noticed playing Slayer, the time of day is also changing in the Slayer map, which is pretty interesting. I played Enclave. It was morning, and then I played it again. It was like sunsetting, so it was pretty interesting. Let me see. How about now? Yeah, that's too much. Now? Hey man, what's up? Alright, so what I'm going to try to do is go through modes. Coliseum looks prettier. The UI is interesting too. Alright, maybe it was a little bit lower, so I brought my voice higher now. That was weird.
Spirits and creatures of all kind, welcome to the trials of dawn.
I do love the sound, the voiceovers though.
To start, a balanced blend of
So this is not a build that actually, the greatness of the loading screen. This is not a build that I'd actually be playing. I didn't even check what my loadout was. I can tell you though, shooting the guns feels slightly better.
remarkable, but will you maintain such a pace? More heat, more fire. Embrace the canoe's resounding ire. Let trial renew your resolve.
okay. Oh, the Sentinels. Wow, the Sentinels are really different.
Do not tire now. The curtain soon will fall.
Still haven't seen the Hulks yet. It is. It actually is. The Miser's slightly faster. I actually played Miser Facade. I actually played I've been playing some of my old builds. They run a lot better. Specifically against bots, I actually can win comfortably. Not dying all the time.
Shouldn't they fear you? It is right that they do. No more fitting trial than that built by your own hand.
There you are. Damn, that thing is tough. Health's not even moving. Oh no!
An ally stumbles.
What the hell, bro? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
An ally stumbles.
Ouch. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Activating final defenses.
What do you mean activate? What? What? No. What do you mean activate? What? What is he talking about? No, thank you.
Machinations of man! Donka! It is an honor to serve you, and such deeds of bravery. Good night!
That was hot. I'm glad I had a primal because that was kind of embarrassing. Stasis would work really well here too, because as soon as that's about to happen, stasis, and you just like watch and go, gosh, I wish everybody had stasis too. Oh well. I tested it, stasis works, which is nice to know.